everybody. Domo arigato for joining me here. Sit down, sit back, relax, enjoy the show, have a drink while you're at it. Somebody tell that kid to let go of that beer. Got something from Dynamite, and all the rest are from, of course, the big two. And I apologize for being so late with this. You know, things are happening at work, and I'm finding less and less time to get this stuff done, but I'm not going away. Just bear with me, folks. I'm trying. I'll try to spruce it back up to the way it once was. But for now, let's just go ahead and talk about these books here. We're going to start with Dynamite. We're going to start off with Swords of Sorrow, number 4 of 6. Gail Simone, Sergio Davila. Probably butchered that name, I'm sorry. 4 issues in, and I still feel like we're at the introductory stages. We're still having all these characters getting to know each other, and it seems like it's taking forever for them to go, hey, how you doing? That doesn't mean the book is bad. I mean, it's a Gail Simone book, you know. Even Gail has her rough patches where it takes a while. It takes a while to get this, to make the story as interesting as it should be. And it really hurts for me to say this about a Gail Simone book, but man, this story needs to pick up because, you know, like I said, 4 issues in, we only got 2 issues left to go, and there's still introductions, all the characters are still not all interacting with each other, and that hurts the book a little bit. The group finally comes across, we finally get to learn who the true trinity of heroes is in this story, and of course, one of them is going to be Red Sonja. But the other 2, I don't want to ruin it for you. And for those of you who are wondering, what are the Swords of Sorrow? It's all those ebony black swords and blades that the heroes are carrying around. And I love the tone of each one of these characters. They have decided they don't want to be known as heroes. They are who they are, and they know what they're fighting for the most part. I like that. And I speak to a lot of people on social media, and a few of them are telling me that they're just not feeling this, and they said it hurts them to be really disappointed by Gail Simone, and I understand. I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed too. I'm expecting more, especially out of Gail. But it is what it is. I'm hoping the last 2 issues really kick ass and really deliver. Otherwise, I hate to say it, but otherwise I'm gonna start thinking about regretting getting on board with this storyline. It just seems so slowly paced, but it's still decent. Still a decent and good enough read for what it is. I'll give it a 3, maybe a 3.5. I don't know. Alright, we're going on to DC. Starting DC off with Batman number 43. Snyder and Capullo. Man. Still just nailing this. We finally get an explanation as to why Bruce Wayne is no longer Batman. And the way they explain it, some of it seems cool, but the rest of it just seems like a bit of a cop-out. It's like, okay, we can have somebody else be Batman, but we just can't kill Bruce Wayne. I mean, DC has been down this road before, more than once. And it just feels like a rehashing. This is the 3rd or 4th time Bruce has been under and can't be Batman, and we know whoever Batman is, it's only a matter of time before Bruce puts the cowl back on. I've seen it with John Paul Valley. I saw it with Dick Grayson. I'm gonna see it again with Jim Gordon. I'm sorry, but it's the way it is. DC just can't help themselves, and I know We're eventually going to get to that point in the storyline where Bruce remembers everything and he dons the cowl again. It's going to happen, folks. And if you don't want it to happen, I'm sorry. There's no other way to put it. It's going to happen. But, you know, Jim Gordon as Batman, I'm liking it. I really am. And, you know, despite what I just said, you know, he is pulling off Batman very nicely. He still wants to, you know, he's not trying to be like Bruce was. He's trying to, you know, be Batman in his own way, but yet respect the mantle of Batman. You know, a vigilante who does not go too far, who will not cross that line. You know, not everybody who's worn the cowl has honored that. John Paul. But still, you know, with Jim, I know he's just a placeholder Batman. I know it's not going to be permanent. I know DC can't help themselves. But then again, when the time comes, are we really going to be surprised? Are we? Now, the introduction of Mr. Bloom. What an introduction. Nice. I saw the other cover and I'm like, okay, Mr. Bloom is just some douchebag with a flower on his face. But then I saw what he can do. Damn. Nice introduction. Nicely done. This was a good book. For what it was, I did enjoy it. Nicely done, DC. Yeah, I'll go ahead and give it a 3.5. Maybe a 4. Maybe a 4. You know, fuck it. I'm going to give it a 4 because Alfred also has a shining moment in this book. True to the character, at least for me. Next up, DC Bombshells #1. Marguerite Bennett and Marguerite Sauvage. For the first time, folks, for the first time ever, I'm reading a comic book and both heads of the creative team are both named Marguerite. Wow. Okay. United for Victory. I gotta say, I almost passed on this. I was thinking, it's just going to be a gimmick storyline, not really going to matter much. But my girlfriend's mother and my girlfriend, you know, talked to me and said, hey, you really got to read this. And I read it. And am I ever thankful that they convinced me to read this. This was outstanding. This was really good. By far, my favorite part of the book was with Batwoman. It was a refreshing look back on how Batwoman once shined and how she could shine again, and yet it's also a reminder of how much DC really dropped the ball with that character. The stuff with Supergirl and Wonder Woman, that stuff was really good too. But I'm not going to give too much away here. I just think this was a really incredible book. I think I'm judging it so highly because I went into this book just thinking, eh. But then when I read it, I was like, whoa! Pleasantly surprised me. I thought this was really good. Now, that's just my opinion. I don't know how you're going to feel about this book. You know, who knows? You might hate it. That's fine. But me personally, I loved it. I'm on board with this. This was fun. I really enjoyed it. I give it a 4. You see that? Yeah, I couldn't get rid of him, folks. He's here. You're up. Hello, YouTube. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Well, I'm back and I'm ready to talk. So let's talk. I'm here to talk about Earth 2 Society, #3. It's a new Earth 2, people. And we're still telling the story of how our Earth came to be. You got Red Tornado, Lois Lane. Yes, I know you are Lois. Trying to get back to the life she once had before she became what she is now. She tries. It's nicely handled. Meanwhile, you got the rest of the team scattered about, trying to figure out what they should or shouldn't do and everything. Alan Scott, it's a bit... I'm kind of half wondering, is he or is he not with the team? Or is he all about himself? It's kind of hard to tell with him right now. But the rest of this book flowed very well. And I think you would enjoy it. I think it is worth your time. This particular issue, it was good. And we have a monumental cliffhanger at the end of the book concerning a big, big moment. A moment that made me go, had it coming. But it leaves it open to continue the storytelling. And I, for one, I applaud that. Was this book perfect? Absolutely not. But I think it's worth the time. Go ahead and give it a look. Who knows? You might not be disappointed at all. I give it a 3.5. Thank you. Wow, he kept that really short and sweet. I guess he felt the same way I felt. Not really much to say about this. You know, he said his piece and he's right. You know, that's pretty much all there is to say about this. Ugh. You know, it is what it is. Alright, moving on to Justice League Gods and Monsters #1. Oh, man. I was so excited to jump on. I was so excited to get this one started because of the 3 nicely done one-shots that built this up. And man, I read this. By far the best done character in here was Batman. Kirk Langstrom. The Gods and Monsters edition Batman. He was clearly my favorite character in this book. You know, Superman, Hernan, whatever the fuck his name is. And, you know, my bro Chris, he cleared it up for me. It's not Kal-El, it's the son of Zod, I believe he said. And, of course, Wonder Woman is Becca from Apocalypse. Superman in here is one grade A+ fucking douchebag. He's presenting himself as a hero to the world, yet when the cameras and the attention are away from him, he's a fucking dick. Pure and simple, he is a dick. And Becca, I want to respect this character, but seeing what she did in this book, I can't. Not as much as I want to. There's all throughout this book, one of the running gags of this issue is Superman is wanting to get in bed with Wonder Woman, and she's constantly turning him down to the point where they're coming to blows and actually fighting. And Superman actually snaps her wrist, snaps her arm during one of their tussles. And then just a moment or two later, she's pulling him into a bedroom saying, hey, I want what I want when I want it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to crawl into bed with a guy who just beat on you? That makes the character look weak. It makes the character look stupid. Women aren't truly sexualized in the comics, my ass. That was easily the worst part of this book. The rest of this stuff was fine. You know, the stuff with the Forever people, that was interesting. But, you know, by far the best part of the stuff was best part of this book was the stuff with Batman. And the worst shit was between Supes and Wonder Woman. Pure and simple. And that really hurts this book. That utterly stupid moment where Wonder Woman let her hormones rule over her common sense. It just, to me, it looked like the battered housewife getting in bed with the son of a bitch who constantly beats her. Because just out of nowhere she decides to like it. That's bullshit. I give this book a 3. Alright, moving on. We're going to end DC with Starfire number 3. Connor and Palmiotti, okay, I'll admit, this was a step up. This was a step up in the right direction with how you're doing this character and how you're doing this series. However, that's not really saying that much. I mean, it feels like you're taking baby steps when you should be leaping forward and really doing something different with this character. As I said when I reviewed the last issue, just because you can write this book in a similar fashion to the way you write Harley Quinn, that doesn't mean you should. Look, I know this is the new 52 universe and all that stuff. The Starfire of old is gone. I get that. But the thing is, Starfire has had to have been on this planet for quite a while now. Why is Connor and Palmiotti still writing this character to look like a naive, bumbling idiot? I know Starfire has to learn a lot, but I'm just going under the assumption that she's learned quite a bit since she's been on Earth. Yeah, it just doesn't look right that she's still so naive and so innocent. It just doesn't look right to the way that I remember her character being developed when I was a kid. And then I see how she is now, and it's kind of insulting to me as a Starfire fan. But the rest of the stuff was actually nicely done. The rest of the stuff in here, the supporting characters were done right. The storyline, the pacing is done very well. I like where they're going with the main antagonist. The main antagonist of this storyline has got my attention, and it's keeping it. And I'm thankful that I'm still on this, yet I still feel deep down in my heart that this series could be a hell of a lot better. I'm dead serious. Miss Connor, Mr. Palmiotti, DC, please, I'm begging you, step it up, do better than this. Because I know you can. I give it a 3. I'm being nice. Alright, we're moving on to Marvel. Starting Marvel off with A-Force number 3. Not much to say in this one. Marjorie Bennett does the writing, and Wilson and Molina do the rest of the stuff. I don't really have that much for this issue. It's just, you know, the women on the odds with Doom's Thors and everything, and we find out there's possibly a traitor among the group. And the highlight of the book for me was the big tease on who the traitor possibly could be. But it's not her. And I'm not going to reveal who it was. The rest of the stuff was, it was alright. But I liked the cliffhanger got my attention. Let's just say that. I'm not going to say I loved it. I can't even really say for sure if I liked it or not. But it certainly got my attention because I'm like, okay, now where are you going to go? And that's pretty much all I got to say about this book. I'd give it a 3. The numbering for this series has gotten beyond fucked up. Amazing Spider-Man number 20.1. This is the conclusion of the Spiral storyline with Mr. Jerry Conway, which I remembered once the editorial page reminded me. I'm like, yeah, this is the same son of a bitch that wrote the death of Gwen Stacy. Like, as big a nerd for Spider-Man as I am, I should have remembered that. But as far as, you know, as far as the conclusion of the storyline goes, I thought it was great. Thought it was really well handled. Spider-Man, I mean, this felt like old school Spider-Man greatness. I mean, it was really good. You know, Spider-Man, he's on the odds with Wraith, and Mr. Negative has done very well in here. You know, Spider-Man has come to that crossroad where, you know, I'm a hero. I know Wraith can be a hero, you know, and he's torn with his inner judgment on, you know, what he feels is right and all that stuff. I mean, we've seen Peter have that conflict millions of times, but you give it a good writer, and you make the plot really well, you make the pacing very well, it still works. And I thought it was very well handled. The artwork was great. The attention to detail was really good. Something about Spider-Man and mob storylines, something about it just really clicks for me, and I really enjoyed this. This was a satisfying conclusion to this storyline, and if I were you, I would see if I can get this storyline, get the issues, all the .1 issues that they did for this angle, for this story, or you can just get the trade. I think it's worth your time. I think it's worth reading. I give this issue a 4. Battleworld number 4. This book bored the hell out of me. Just gonna be honest. Got a couple of stories with the Silver Surfer. Average read at best, 2.5. Alright. This is my pick of the week. Star Wars Lando number 2. Oh my god. Charles Soule and Alex Maleev. Man, this was surprisingly awesome. This was good. This was really good. Get to see just how much of a scoundrel Calrissian was and everything. It's like he's stolen the ship, not knowing he stole it directly from Emperor Palpatine. And he's got 3 Star Destroyers on his ass. 3 of them. He outmaneuvers one of them. And then the other 2, the way he deals with the other 2, I'm like, God damn, you ballsy motherfucker. And, you know, it's like he's boasting, he's bragging about how good he is, but deep down, you know, he was probably shitting his pants. It's just, the way the character is done in here is just magnificent. Just really, really good stuff. And he's, you know, he instantly picks up, okay, the Empire wouldn't send this many against us if this ship wasn't worth something. This ship has got to be worth something. It's got to be holding something. He instantly got that notion in his head. And damn it, this was so captivatingly good. This was so captivatingly awesome. Then again, like I said, that's just my opinion. But really enjoyed this. And I really dug the whoa kind of cliffhanger at the end. This was really good. Awesome book. I give this an easy 4. Maybe possibly even a 4.5. But I might not go there. This was really good. Next up, Secret Wars number 5. Another Jonathan Hickman dialogue fuck fest. It is inevitable. You get a Jonathan Hickman book, it's going to be 70% talking, 30% action. And that's what this was. They're bringing in Valeria Richards to, you know, help with the investigation, with the hunt for the so-called heroes who dared to threaten Doom and all that stuff. Meanwhile, you get to see more of the backstory as to just how Doom became God and everything. I thought, that stuff was alright. But, you know, it's something I've come to expect from Hickman when he's writing a Marvel book. Especially a book that focuses on characters from Fantastic Four. It's a whole lot of fucking talking. And sometimes it hurts when you finally do get some action, because it's like, oh, there's some action and then there's some more talking. Bottom line, this whole series, this storyline has been very blah here lately, and I've been loving the tie-ins a hell of a lot more than the main story. That's a huge thing to say, Marvel. I hope you're watching. This angle, this whole Secret Wars shit, when the tie-ins that don't really affect the main story overall, when those books, excuse me, are better than the main thing you're trying to sell to us, that's a problem. I'm just saying. Give it a 3. Moving on to Secret Wars 2099, number 4. Peter David. Man, it's just something about Peter David, I swear. Pardon me, I'm sorry. There's just something about Peter David that just entraps me in a book. You know, you got, Captain America of the Avengers going against her boss's wishes when it comes to how they should round up the Defenders. And Miguel O'Hara, what a fucking tool. Just a grade A douchebag. Not, hell, his douchebaggery probably rivals that of the Gods and Monsters Superman. But yeah, Captain America's going against her boss's wishes, even though she is programmed to follow orders, and just out of nowhere, all you got to do is say he's the boogie woogie bugle boy from Company B, and boom, she's back to normal without any consciousness at all of her being Captain America. And that's how this book ends. And I know I just spoiled that, and I'm sorry, but it's one of those. It's one of the more weaker Peter David style cliffhangers that I've seen here lately, but it's still a pretty good one, because you think the heroes are going to regroup, but then all of a sudden something happens to fuck everything up, and things may have to change as far as planning goes for the heroes. And that keeps the storyline interesting, and it's very well presented and very well done, in my opinion. I'd say go ahead and keep on board with this. I give it a 3.5. We're almost done, folks. We got 2 more books to go. Unbeatable Squirrel-Girl, number 8. This book sucked. I'm sorry. It's just so painful knowing that when I started reading this series and when I started reviewing this series, I praised the hell out of it. Thought it was great. I thought it was a direct shot at DC's Harley Quinn series. And man, it is so painful to see just how far the rock fell through the water. This series has just took a nosedive. Way too many inside jokes, way too much dialogue, way too many supporting characters, way too many crossovers with big Marvel names, not enough of a focus on the character on the title character. I swear to you, I read this issue and I saw more of the supporting cast. I saw more of Thor than I actually did Squirrel Girl, and some of the humor that they were trying to shove down my throat in here, let's be honest, I didn't find it a damn bit funny at all. Hell, they brought Loki into this issue, and not even Loki could save this. This is the finale of the series before it gets relaunched with a new number 1 after Secret Wars, and I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I'm done with this. I'm done with this series. Once the series relaunches with Secret Wars, y'all can fucking have it, because I'm not going to have any part of it. It is so painful to see just how bad this shit got so fast. A 2. We're ending this review with Years of Future Past, number 4. I'll tell you one thing, Marjorie Bennett sure has got her hands full here with Marvel. Man, this was impressive. This was impressive. Cameron briefly deals with Logan on, it's like, hey, you're not my dad, Colossus is my dad shit. We just blow through right that and get that out of the way. Meanwhile, we learn what President Robert Kelly's true agenda is with the mutants and what he's doing with the Doom Sentinels and everything. Plus, there's a humongous, big jaw-dropping moment for me in here concerning one of the veteran mutants. And I don't want to ruin that. There's so much that happens in here. I'm trying my best not to ruin any of it, because so much stuff happens in here. There's even a casualty in here. But I don't want to ruin who that is either. I mean, there's just so much shit that's going on. And the way this issue ends, it ends with a conflict that I didn't really want, but a conflict that could end up being a damn good one. Who knows? One of the characters talks like a traitor, yet I understand their point of view. Sort of. But, you know, it's just one of those things where you're just going, huh, just where are you going to go from here? It's one of those kinds of things. I really can't explain it. I really can't. But, goddamn, I just can't. I can't go into detail about this because I just don't want to ruin anything. All I'm going to say is, whether you choose to buy it or not, that's your business. But I would definitely say, at least give it a look. At least look at it. At least read it. And, you know, just tell me what you think about it. Because this is one of those issues that just made me go, oh. You know, but in a good way. Because it keeps me captivated. I'm anxious to see how they finish this off. Nicely done, though, Marvel. I'll admit that. I give it a 4. Alright. I want to thank y'all for watching. I apologize for being so late. And I apologize for it being such a long review. But, you know, it is what it is. Please subscribe to this channel. Please check out Blugoblin X. Don't forget, Jennifer and I were doing stuff for Arkham Asylum Studio. We've fallen a bit behind on that here lately, but we're picking things back up, and we got a few things that we want to do for that channel. Follow me on Twitter, @Blugoblin01. You can follow me on, on Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Facebook, or here on YouTube. Don't forget my closest friends, Deadpoolzilla, Brandon Hex, and of course my bro, TheMtVernonKid. Thanks for watching, everybody. Arigato. I am Groot. I'll see y'all later.